Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Doug Saravo Show. We have plenty to get to today. We're going to discuss Major League Baseball, the NBA, but I want to start things off with a throwback of the Doug Saravo Show. Now, as many recall, Andrew Mackin tried telling Mark Murrow and I that the Washington Capitals won the trade of Anthony Mantha for Richard Panik and Jacob Vrana. But the Washington Capitals are now going home and spending their summer not playing for the Stanley Cup. So let's take a look at this throwback brought to you by Sarava Broadcasting.
So they are very important.
I agree with that, but it's not only about the picks. They gave up two highly class penalty killers. You don't understand how important Vrana was to the playoffs.
Yes, Mel. Richard Panik in the penalty.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. Those depth players are making an important role for a team. That's what we got. Look at Tampa's team. Their
Mark,
depth
look
was,
at your Penguins in the back-to-back years.
Cullen was a fourth line center.
Bonino, Hagelin.
I know these are depth guys that you need.
Andrew, but the Penguins didn't just win the cup because they had Crosby and Malkin and Fleury and Murray and Letang. They won the cup because of their depth, their third and fourth lines.
Let's just go back to last year. The Lightning had four high-quality lines that won them the Stanley Cup.
Anthony Cirelli, Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, Patrick Maroon.
All right, Steve was Braden, Nikita Kucherov, Hedman.
That's
No
not
shit, Andrew, but that's not how you win cups. You
need
don't just
depth.
win a cup by having these top players. You need depth.
Highly touted players does not win you cups. Heard it here first.
That's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're saying. You're totally freaking lost in this conversation right now.
Mac,
No,
you need depth to win a cup. When it's late in the game and your first line is dead tired because you played them 25 minutes.
But Washington, they got depth. Even though
They don't. Not anymore. They got rid of Vrana and Panik for one guy.
both of them. Both of them.
We might have to move on, Doug, because this
I'm loving this.
On a show within the future with Mark and I, and we get to expose this video to you again because it seemed like you didn't understand what we were saying. You really didn't understand it. And it showed this playoff series. You know, the Washington Capitals, I originally came out and said that the Capitals didn't have the goaltending to win the Stanley Cup. Better yet, to win a first round. And then when you trade a guy like Vrana, sure, he wasn't happy there from reports that came out. Sure, Richard Panik is a third, fourth line penalty kill guy. But it's the fact that they were missing this. They were missing those pieces in this playoff. And it showed. It truly showed it. And we basically had to embarrass you that night because you couldn't understand the concept that depth doesn't help you win a Stanley Cup. You made that point that, Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, but the Lightning had depth. Yes, the Capitals have Alex Ovechkin, John Carlson, TJ Oshie, Nick Backstrom, but they didn't have depth this postseason. Taylor Hall helped Boston get to the second round. I think the Bruins are going to come out and win the Stanley Cup. Save it, screenshot it, whatever you want to do with it. Boston will win the cup, and they have all the confidence and motivation in the world to get there. I've been saying ever since the Taylor Hall trade that this was the best move for him to go out and win a Stanley Cup. And you know what? I think the Bruins are going to win the Stanley Cup. The era of the great Washington Capitals is over. It's over. And I had to show that on here because you were in denial that the Capitals didn't have depth. And they didn't have depth. We saw it in this first round. To lose in 5 games to a Boston Bruins team that barely made the playoffs. And I say barely because you had these other top teams. You had, the Rangers there fighting them. You had the Islanders there. But the Bruins, they barely made it. They weren't one of those top teams this year. And if you look at the standings, The Bruins weren't those top teams. They really weren't. And yeah, they're looking good now, but that's because they've been playing good hockey. They've been playing good hockey at the right time. And if you look at where the Bruins were, 33, 16, and 7, and at first they were struggling. You know, there was a point where they were at that 4 or 5 spot, then they got Taylor Hall, they got hot, and then they went to the 3rd spot. You know, the Capitals, sure, great regular season, but when it comes to the postseason, and you're playing in a 6-7 game series, even 5 or 4, you need the depth, and the Capitals just didn't have it this year. They didn't have the goaltending. Yeah, Vanacek got hurt in game 1. Anderson looked good, but the Bruins were the better team. And the Capitals getting rid of their depth truly affected them. It truly affected them. Much more on the Doug Saravo Show right after this.
I'm going to work with Stratford Rec to see what can we do about it, because I can pitch in money to start with, you know, because we need that. Look at that. It's like, you know, sad. The puck is crying. We need to do something.
And when she gets elected, she will do a lot of great work for this town. Things that haven't been done before. She's highly respected, highly intelligent, and I'm looking forward to hearing on election day that she is your newest representative, but most importantly, your voice.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we are back on the Doug Saravo Show. As always, I'm your host, Doug Saravo. We'll have co-hosts in the future. You know, we just, you know, finals have been coming up for Mark, Andrew. But I want to get to the Nashville Predators, and I'm looking at this team, and we've seen it in prior years in their postseason, you know, their cup run. Why is it they always struggle on the road? And when they come home, they dominate. Sure, it's the great crowd, it's the home ice. But why is that an issue? Why can't they find ways to win on the road? And I think this is a Nashville team that has what it takes to win a championship. I think this is a team that should have won a few cups back in the era of when Pecorini was in his prime, and you had guys like Mike Fisher, Shea Weber. I think this is a Predators team that should have had a Stanley Cup banner for sure, whether it was against the Penguins or before that. And if you look at this Predators team, I'm thinking to myself, they just can't win on the road, and that's an issue. And it's an issue for me because I believe in the mantra that if you want to win a championship, if you want to win a Stanley Cup, you have to win on the road. You know, you don't have to have that conversation when it comes to winning the Super Bowl because it's a neutral site. But you do have to find ways to make that big play. Eli Manning did it twice. Shout out to my guy, Eli. But if you're looking at other teams, there's a lot of teams that struggle on the road, and it hurts them. Because these are teams that could have won a championship. You know, and I got to give credit to the Washington Nationals always. Because the way they looked on home in that 2019 World Series, you would think it would be over in Game 6 and Game 7. First of all, it wouldn't even have gotten to a Game 7 because the Astros would have won that series after 6 games. But the Nationals found ways to win games on the road, whether it was Game 1, 2, or Game 6 and 7. And when we're looking at the Stanley Cup playoffs, you have to win on the road. And I think if the Predators could find a way to win Game 5 coming up in Carolina, another rowdy crowd, I think they have what it takes to go to the second round. Because they would be in a perfect situation for sure if you look at this. They would be in a perfect situation. You have Game 6 on home ice in Nashville. They're going to win that game for sure. So there's no reason why the Predators can't win that game. Game 5 is a must-win game for the Nashville Predators. All right, enough talk with the Nashville Predators. Let's get to the Edmonton Oilers. Something is wrong in Edmonton. And if I'm Connor McDavid, I'm going to be loyal, but I want to win. I'm not sure if he has an ego and thinks he's the best player in the world, but he is the best player in the world. If I'm Connor McDavid, I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? There's a lot of issues in Edmonton, and I'm not really sure what it is. Is it the coaching? Is it the goaltending? Is it the system? Because without McDavid, without Draisaitl, this Oilers team is a mess. McDavid deserves better, and to see this team fall apart from a 4-1 lead and to lose against a good Winnipeg team, but I don't think anyone expected this, and I don't think anyone, including myself, expected Winnipeg to go far. And I think if they sweep Edmonton, I think this series is over for sure. I think it's over in 5 games. I don't see Edmonton bouncing back from this. But if I'm Connor McDavid, I'm going into that locker room and I'm screaming my head off, saying, guys, what the is going on here? Dropping F-bomb after F-bomb, doing it torch style. What is going on here? Come on. You shouldn't be, when you have the best player in the league, and you have to screw the league. When you have the best player in the world in Connor McDavid, you should be in there year in, year out to win a Stanley Cup. This is just a disaster. There's no reason why the Oilers should be in this position, down 3-0. I just don't know what's going on. I really don't. When you're Connor McDavid, you shouldn't have to put the team on your back. You shouldn't have to put the team on their back. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people out there that's going to have those. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that's going to be like, is he the leader maybe? Because there was a lot of talk like that for Ovi. Crosby, the guy's a leader. He makes everyone around him better. But the problem is, no one makes McDavid better. McDavid is the Edmonton Oilers. And if the Devils somehow got lucky in that draft lotto in 2015, McDavid would be a Devil. And the Devils would probably be one of the top teams in the league. That's how good Connor McDavid is. He would have made the Devils so much better. Yeah, we wouldn't have Nico, we wouldn't have Jack. But, I'd rather have Connor McDavid, but I love Nico, I love Jack. I think we're going to be good in a few years. But it's not right. It's not fair to the guy. And when you saw the look on his face last night, he was just devastated. He was like, here we go again. Here we go again. Thank you for listening to the Doug Strauss Show. We got more to get to. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Falcons Insider, #1 all across Monroe. It's the most viewed. Welcome back to the Doug Serravo Show. We got Brandon Schwartz from Marlboro on the line. Brandon, how are you today?
Doing good, Doug. How you doing?
Thanks for calling in. What you got on your mind today?
So, talk about the Knicks a little bit. It was a tough loss last night, but we got a lot of games left in the series, and I think the Knicks could turn it around. You know, they just got to make just a couple of minor adjustments, and then I think they could still win this series.
Yeah, they were competitive. It looked like they were going to win, but Trae Young had that last-second shot. But I think this is going to be a 7-game series, maybe 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series for sure. Question is, you know, how well do the Knicks come out in Game 2? You know, I think they'll come out strong in Game 2. You know, after that tough loss yesterday, I think they will win Game 2. I think the defense has to improve a little bit on Trae Young and the other players around the Hawks, because I don't think that it really came down to defense yesterday, because when Trae Young hit that shot at the end of the fourth, there wasn't any defense on Trae Young. They just let him float. They just let him go up with the shot and hope for a miss. You can't do that against this guy. He usually hits those. So
Yeah, they just let him right in.
And play better defense.
So would you say that Tom Thibodeau should be the coach of the year?
100%. I think he should be coach of the year. No doubt about it. This is a team that had low expectations coming into the season, but he really turned this team around. This team has a great foundation. They have a great future ahead of them. I think players like Obi Toppin, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, all can be faces of the franchise in the coming years. Julius Randle clearly should also win the Most Improved Player of the Year. He's done a great job under Tom Thibodeau. Everybody's played well under Tom Thibodeau. They've all been playing hard. They've all been playing competitive every night. You know, this is the difference when they have played so much different this year than they had the last couple of years under the different coaching staffs. They have done a great job under Tom Thibodeau. Not just Tom Thibodeau. I think the other assistant coaches have done a great job, like Kenny Payne, Johnny Bryant, have done a great job working under Tom Thibodeau and these players to play hard every night.
Now, how important was it to bring back Derrick Rose?
I think that was one of the best trades the Knicks have done. I think Derrick Rose has meant a lot to this team in terms of veteran leadership. Especially, you know, Tom Thibodeau works well with Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson. Derrick Rose, you know, he looks very good. The last game, he's looking good. The second half of the season, he's looked really good. So I think it's very important that we got this trade with Derrick Rose, and I think it's important that we try to re-sign him after the season.
Now, you guys missed out on KD, you missed out on Kyrie, and it looked like it was going to be the end of the world. So now seeing where the Knicks are, where they have a guy like RJ, Obi, Julius, Derek, and having a coach like Tom, will more free agents come to New York?
Well, that's what we're all hoping for. You know, because the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't been a team that we haven't really attracted many players, you know, through free agency. The Knicks have had a hard time doing that, you know. So I think when it comes down to attracting free agents, it comes down to your foundation around your team previously. So when the Knicks got, like, you know, when they got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, they had a good team before that. You know, they had Joe Harris, who developed really well. They had Spencer Dinwiddie, who turned out to be a really good player. They had, you know, who's not on the team anymore, Karis LeVert, who's now with the Pacers. That team led them track Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant because they had a good team, they were winning games, and they had a good coaching staff. So that's where the Knicks are heading now. They got their foundation together, they have their coaching staff together, and now they're ready to, I believe, attract free agents in free agency. And hopefully we can attract some free agents this summer.
And what would the best bet for the Knicks be? To win this in 5 games or 6?
I think it's more logical they're going to win in 6. I think they'll I don't know if they'll be able to win 4 in a row, but I think they could win 3 of the next. I think they could win 4 of the next 5. I think that's logical. The question is, how will they perform in Game 2? Because, under this Garden pressure, under the fan base of New York, I don't, they're going to have to come back strong in Game 2 and try and win Game 2 in order to make a competitive fight in this series.
All right, thanks for your call, Brian.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, take care. That was Brian Schwartz giving us a call on his New York Knicks. And looking at this playoff picture so far, it seems like this is a playoff that can go either way. We have the Nets with Kyrie and KD, James Harden. You have the Sixers with their core, the Heat with their core, Wizards with Beal and Westbrook, the Bucks with Giannis, Middleton. Any team can win. This is going to be an exciting NBA Finals. It's not you've seen it in the past where it's always the Warriors, always the Cavs, always the Heat. And, we had an upset last night. Grizzlies won Game 1 over the Jazz. So this is going to be an interesting NBA postseason for sure. The Suns are looking good, but I do think the Lakers and LeBron will bounce back. It's going to be interesting for sure, this NBA Final. And I think this is the first time in a long time I'm excited to see who comes out on top. Because it's not a lock. It's not a guarantee. In prior years, we've seen it where we knew the Warriors were probably going to be the best team to come out of the West. The Cavs, the best team to come out of the East. Same thing with the Heat. Same thing with the Spurs. I think that any team can win in this postseason, and that's going to be one of the most exciting things to happen. We'll be right back on the Doug Survival Show. We have plenty more to get to. We're going to discuss Major League Baseball right after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Where the Monroe Falcons are playing the St. Joseph of McCutcheon Falcons.
Past that game's history, we have a state's championship on our mind now.
The Ranch, the Buffalo.
It all works together very nicely.
Welcome to Falcons Insider.
Falcons Insider.
On today's episode, we're doing a lot of great work. This is work that people said couldn't have been done before. A lot of money doing something you love.
Re-elected team reporter.
Yeah, what a season that was for you. 54 points in 18 games.
But definitely, when I said that we're going to win GMCs, I think that's another one that I remember. Yeah.
Without history. You just said it with so much confidence. We are back on the Doug Survival Show, and boy, the American League East, what a race so far. The American League East is probably the best division in baseball. The best division in baseball in my mind, and I got to pull these standings up. Just give me a while because we got to share the screen in. Last time I did that, we went off the air. So here we go. Share screen. All right, give me a minute. Right there. Major League Baseball standings share. All right. What a race so far. And the Tampa Bay Rays are on verge of winning their 11th straight game. 10-game winning streak. But look at those top three teams. This is going to go down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. You got the Red Sox, who are 29-19, Tampa Bay, who was 29-19, and the Yankees, who are 28-19. 3 of these teams will be in the postseason this year, and you can guarantee it. This is coming from myself. I think we're going to see a wild card game of the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees. Although one team may miss out because you have teams like the Astros, you have teams like the Indians who will be in the race. But this is a division that is going to go down to the wire, and there's no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about it. And if we go from a month earlier, in April 24th, the Yankees were looking like one of the worst teams in baseball. 9-11, well, they were, let's go back a few days. Let's go back to April 16th. If it ever loads. The Yankees were 8-11. Oh no, here we go. You have the Red Sox at 9-4, Toronto at 6-7, Baltimore 6-8, Tampa Bay 6-8, Yankees at 5-8. So these have been the best teams in baseball since April 16th. You know, where everyone in the mainstream media, whether it was myself, ESPN, MLB Network, we were all panicking about the New York Yankees team. We were all panicking. You know, and there's no doubt about that. We were panicking about the Yankees. Because for the talent they have, the lineup that they have, the offense that they have, there should be no complaints. But they found their groove. They found their stride. You know, I was telling people that once the Yankees offense wakes up, they're going to go somewhere. They're going to go places. There was no need to doubt. There was no need to worry. Because this Yankees team isn't a bad team. They were just going through a slump. And if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'm a Rays fan. Well, I am a Rays fan for sure. It's just an expression, a matter of speech, as they say. If I'm a Red Sox fan, if I'm a Rays fan, we should worry about this New York Yankees team. Because of the New York Yankees, one of our teams will happen to miss out. And I think the Rays have the best chance to get back to the World Series. I truly do. But this is a race that is going to go down to the wire. I'm sure one team will struggle. I'm sure one team will run away with it. I think Boston will end up falling off. But I do believe this is going to be a race between the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees. But the one thing that I've liked about this Tampa Bay Rays team is that they haven't fell off on the road. We are 18-7 on the road despite struggling on home. I'm such a big hockey fan that I keep saying home ice. On home field. 11-12 on home field, but you know what? That road record, 18-7, that says a lot. That says a lot. And if we look at the game right now, it's 5-3 game. Ryan Yarborough's on the mound. Heading into the 7th inning. But look at that first inning we just had. 5-3. Again, this is going to premiere 7 p.m. tonight. But look at this game. Look at how we're performing. You know, we traded Willie Adames. I thought, here we go again. But it only means that Wander Franco will be called up sometime this season. And there's nothing us Rays fans should be worried about. You know, I think we're going to win the division again. I think we have a great shot to go back to the World Series. I truly believe that. I truly believe it. We have a great team. There's no doubt about it. Thank you for watching the Doug Saravo Show. It's always a pleasure speaking to you all today. I'll be back later tonight live streaming a men's ice hockey game. So, we'll see you guys then. Take care, have a good one, and stay blessed. Stay blessed.